Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Crafty Saucer. Now, I know we took a bit of time off and it was all for good reason. I did get married. I had a bit of an incident with my eye and I look like Nick Fury, but we're definitely back. As some of you may know, we host Crafty Saucer. It's all around where we talk about tact, strategy, and tools. Now, to kick off this year and obviously the show again, we thought about bringing someone who's been a part of the show before, but also someone that I geek out with every now and then, whether it's through phone calls or chats or LinkedIn. So we have Maren Boyd Andrews back on today's episode. Let's get into it and let's get crafty. Maren, thank you so much for coming back on the show for the second time, my friend.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Thank you again for having me, mate. Firstly, massive congrats on the marriage.
Thank you.
Happy as amazing news, and thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be in this. I've posted this everywhere I can to let people know that you're back. We've all missed you, mate. We've missed the podcast. We missed everything, so it's lovely.
Thanks, man.
I'm trying to amalgamate with you, mate, here. Show a bit of peace and a bit of harmony and a bit of camaraderie, mate, and give my glasses on for you. I don't know how long I'll last, though. It's really dark.
Solidarity, Maren. Thanks for making me feel like I am definitely included and you feel as part of whatever's happened behind the scenes.
I might need to lift because
you do whatever makes you comfortable, my friend. Now, Maren, we've obviously been in touch and you've been a very busy man behind the scenes.
I have. There's been a lot going on. Obviously, my front and forward at the moment is all the wonderful work I'm doing with Fonterra. They're in a massive IT strategy piece going on at the moment. And the work that I'm going to show you today is a little bit of it's pretty much started as just some work I was doing for myself. And it's turned into a little bit of a side hustle through demand and people asking me about prompt engineering and AI and how I can help. So it's sort of a bit of a spin-off from there. So really busy, plenty going on this year. And I'm really happy this is the first thing I'm actually involved in. So all of this is built off the back of my networks, my people, my staff, leaders that I talk to, and they go, oh, we need prompts for this, we need prompts for that. And so what's happened is that I think businesses are now realizing we need prompt engineering for our finance team. We need a prompt stack. We need a prompt stack for the marketing team. We need a prompt stack for this. So off the back of that, that's what this has turned into. They didn't want to have to learn LLMs. They didn't want us to learn algorithms. They didn't want to learn chain of thought. And why should they? We're all too busy, right? So the prompts that I've created do all that for you. All you need to do is just change the variables, paste it into ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever you like, and it'll produce it for you. So that's pretty much a quick rundown of how I've got to be where it is.
I can definitely say, having trialed it for the past 2 months, it is a game changer, right? Because you've got about there's a collection of over 38,000 AI prompts in there. So if you're a gardener, if you're a designer, if you're a sourcer, if you're, anything, there's something for everyone in there, which is what I love about it. But I'll give you an example of when I was using it. I had a confidential role hit my desk and I had to go out and work in a market that I haven't worked in before. And I used your pro prompt to sort of give me a guideline and a market map around doing some competitor analysis. And when you think about market geographical locations you haven't worked in a while, the considerations, the thought process that comes out from there really makes you think a lot more you diversify your thought process because of the prompts, and you said it's all around variables, right? They are doing all the thinking for you. It's not there to make us lazy. It's really to get us think that if we were doing exactly what these prompts are doing, we would have been advancing way ahead of our time before. So with the sort of 38,000 AI prompts, can you tell us with the behind the scenes, how did this all come together? That's massive. 38,000, that's a lot of your time. That's a lot of the developers' time. So how did you decide, I'm not just going to do this for the TA community. I'm going to try and make everybody else's life.
And so how the back end of it was decided was I had to break it down. I had to work out do I just do this for talent, then break it down to recruitment, sourcing, and the like? And that was pretty much how it started. And just like if we're going to do HR, do we do people services, and do we do HR VPs, and do we, and that's the way. But what we have done is I've brought it a little bit higher than that. So now you can go into a sector, or now you can go into a type of skill. So you might just go, yeah, I want to get into, or I've got to do some market mapping, or I've got to do some marketing, or I've got, like you said, or I've got to do a bit of talent sourcing or business strategy, or I've got to do some HR L&D things. You can actually then go and search by that. So what we've done to build the correct way for easy access is we make it searchable. So you can search for, like I said, HR, VP, learning and development, whatever not, and it'll come up for you in the search. It'll show you the folder. You can go inside that folder and see everything in the collection, or you can see the individual ones as well. So then you can see the prompts and go, oh yeah, that's it. Oh, what folder is that in? Oh, great. I should get the marketing collection because that's got everything I've got in there that I want in there. I will still say, but the most important part is being off the back of every day I'm speaking with somebody that says, oh, this is our challenge. Oh, we've got a challenge with onboarding. Is there a prompt that can help with that, and all the rest of it? But what's important to remember with these prompts is that they're just giving you the initial conversation. So we build these prompts not for a silver bullet. It's not so you go, first answer, fantastic, post it. You will be in big trouble if you go that road with prompts. The way you do it is you give it the variables so it actually can formulate the prompt to give you the answers you want.
Awesome, Marin. Not to, and excuse the pun here, but what sort of prompted you to create ProPrompt? And, how has that tool sort of evolved since its inception? Because from our chats, you've been working on this for a little while now.
Yeah, so how this all came about was I was at Microsoft at the time. Actually, no, I just left Rio, but I landed in Microsoft, and GPT had been out about 3 weeks. And when I landed there, I was obviously in the sourcing team and getting my feet wet into how Microsoft works and all the rest of it. But I found I was spending more time with the developers because this wonderful thing, OpenAI, had landed. And it was really in its infancy. I'm talking, it had very little access and very little to play with, but it was enough for me to realize that there's huge potential here in sourcing. I'm doing a lot of work and it's repetitive. And how it happened is that I was working with the developers sometimes and talking to them and just playing around with it. And we quickly realized, and the developers were just as open-minded to this as well, as that this is the future. If people can't talk to this thing, they're not going to be able to actually use it. I started to teach myself prompt design. I started just prompt designing. Then I got into prompt engineering and basically just kept experimenting and kept doing it. So how ProPrompt came about was off the back of that, I was creating all these prompts that I wanted to remember. And I wanted to use again and again and again. So I created a website. It wasn't called ProPrompt then. It was just a generic website where I could just save them. And the most important part about saving them was I wanted to have them templated, right? So I could go back. If I wanted to do some talent insights, I just go to that prompt. If I wanted to go and do some competitor analysis, whatever, I could just go back to that template and use it again and again and again. And so where that started to go was I started to realize that templating is really the answer. People don't want to have to rewrite a 4-page prompt to get the answers that you're going to get, right? So I just found that the template made it easy. The challenge around that was I found that I was writing endless templates for pretty much the same job. So I quickly realized that variables were the difference. That's where you're able to actually just put a variable into a prompt. And off the back of that, if I'm looking for an engineering manager, which I'll happily do an example for you in a second, or I wanted a marketing manager, or we wanted a tech guy or a test guy, we just changed the variables. The prompt was already created. But where it came to being something that I knew probably was needed, especially in talent, right, and recruitment and HR, was I just found that people were asking me over and over, oh, is there a prompt for this? Or can you write one for this? And so it just got born out of that. There's been no hard launch. Let's forget a hard launch. I've tested this in the US a little bit and got really good leverage out of that. But I've held off here in Australia because there's a lot of different things that are going on that I wanted to make sure that we could leverage with all the different possibilities of prompting and the results you want, but it's the conversation you have after it. So if you're doing some insights, I'll show you some stuff in a second, but if you do some insights, it's going to give you some great stuff that you go, this is great, because the actual prompt itself is quite detailed. However, The conversation after it. Is BHP up in that area if you're looking for mining? And how many mine sites do they have? And how many engineering managers do they have on this site? And all that lovely stuff is that next lot of conversations after that it'll pull that information from. The good thing about it is once you have that conversation is then you can save it. So you can save that conversation, come back to it and go, right, I was up to getting him to give some insights. It gave me some insights on this. It told me where the markets was, all the universities where they're studying at, where the hotspots are. I need to target all the rest of it. Write me some Boolean strings now. Or the prompt might actually have them built in. We've got a lot of prompts built in there where it'll give you not just the insights, not just where the unis are and where to target, but it'll actually give you the Boolean strings at the end. So it's a conversation after it. Once it's learnt that first conversation with you, the best part about it is you can then, because it already knows all of the prompt engineering behind it, it knows the algorithm, it knows the LLM to use, it knows the chain of thought or the front of thought or zero thought, it knows all of that because the prompt's already built that. Because it's done that, you can then have the next conversation and go, great, now write me a job ad on that information because it knows what you have put in the variables against what the prompt's given you. And then you can say, right, I want to present these candidates through to a leader. Write me a report so I can present these through to a leader. So the conversation can go well and truly beyond just what the initial prompt does.
That's very interesting, Marin. And obviously with so much of hard work and smart work that has gone behind you, creating something that everybody can benefit from, how are you going to ensure that whatever you've done remains relevant and effective across all these different collections that you've put together?
They're constantly being updated. It's probably the nutshell answer. Whenever I come across a problem that has been solved with a prompt, I add it. So if someone buys the, say, the recruitment collection, if there's a new prompt, I will add it to it. So if they go buy that recruitment collection and say it's got 40 in it, it'll now have 41. It'll now have 42, and we keep adding to it. The lovely part about it is every industry or every person's professional role will find new challenges, and we're just starting. So we're just giving the stuff that we do know already, but industry's changing and sectors are changing, and now we're looking for deep tech, now we're looking for renewables, now we're looking for this. So all this stuff starts to come into it, right? But the lovely part about it, the main gust of the actual prompt doesn't need to change. Your variables will just change. Exactly. So when you're looking for an engineering manager, that you needed them to have, say, leadership and SAP experience and all this sort of stuff, will now go, I now them to have leadership, I need them to have renewables, I need to have things. So that one prompt becomes another out of the one template. So it becomes relevant by what you do with those variables inside. And the variables are easy. You can pump as much information into there as you like, because the prompt will take all that, put it together with the prompt that's been engineered, and it'll give you a better answer.
In terms of, I've used ProPrompt and used PromptPal, I've used Prompt Perfect. How do you sort of reckon your tool is slightly different or separate from PromptPal and Prompt Perfect?
That's a really good question. And before I actually launched ProPrompt, that was the biggest thing. I didn't want it to be just another copy template paste. I didn't want it to be another buy one prompt for, some of them are selling for $30 or $40, right? So I didn't want it to be another prompt walk away and there's no support behind it. And the other part that I didn't want it to be is I didn't want it to be where the person didn't build their own prompt stack out of it, right? So the idea is that I want people to come in here from an everyday user like you or me, or a team or an enterprise or a business that wants to use it, buy what they need and they come back, and that's their prompt stack, right? But the difference from all the other ones, and I'm like you, I tried them all. I was out there playing around while they're doing, I was learning about it, and I'm thinking, oh, that's quite clever, but why is it only very static? And why can't I change it? Why can't I edit it? The difference with ProPrompt is the ability to put variables. I've actually put them into absolutely every one of the templates, and that is the game changer. Yeah. When you can say this is the precise information to make this prompt different in every single prompt, that's the game changer. And nobody was doing it. So if I was going to buy a prompt, pay my $40, buy my prompt, every time I'd have to recreate that prompt because there was no variables in it. There was no ability to change that. And that's the other thing, is I wanted that to be on the site too. So it wasn't just me writing a prompt up that you copy and you then copy it down to a Word document and then it's got in here in brackets, change these variables. No, you do that on the site and then you press copy and you've got it. So I wanted it to be really user-friendly and easy. And that was really the game changer that I wanted to have. I've really focused on making that end user the main focus on it. And I'll be honest with you, this is the best part, like all your feedback and all the others that have been testing it out for me, that feedback is gold. Like people go, these collections are so big and I need to remember this one. So we're adding favorites to it now. So you can star the ones you want, You can then also change them. So you can move the order and bring them to the top. We're putting a section up the top, which is when you've got all your favorites from all your different collections, you just go there. You go, I'm doing a talent sourcing thing today. Go to my favorites. That's the one I use, because there's hundreds of thousands in there. So people were scrolling going, where's that prompt that I used last week? So now they can be at the favorite, which is great.
I actually agree with you around Pro Prompt being different to the others. And the variables are the game changer, because having used things like Prompt Perfect and Prompt Pal, they already give you things that you just pick and choose from, and it's like off the shelf and you put it in there. So you're not actually learning from it. Correct. While it's good, you're not learning from it. With your tool specifically, and I'm not saying this because you're here, but I also, talk about your tool when you're not in the room, is the fact that it really gets you to think that if I had not put A and I used B, my output is C. So why did I get C and not get C somewhere else? So it really gets you to think. And the fact that obviously you can cross leverage against other AI tools like Gemini and Claude and obviously ChatGPT, you will get very similar responses, but slightly different. So you can pick and choose what's going to work for you, depending on what you're actually after. So 100%. You're absolutely right. I haven't seen anyone do what you're doing right now. So, and anybody that's listening, please, Marin is
100%. Whenever you're doing something that's repetitive and AI takes it away, right? You're in a space of learning. You've gone beyond just doing, copy, paste, go, because that repetitive task and you're using that prompt over and over. And when you're doing little changes on the variables, to your point earlier, if I'd done B and didn't put A in there, I would have got this result. So what we're finding is that, and look, even my sources at Fonterra, like these guys are so good now, where they're writing their own prompts and putting their own prompt stacks together and all the rest of it. And that's just naturally progressed. Now, in saying that, that's not prompt engineering, that's prompt design. But realistically, that's the first step. After that, you can learn all the other stuff if you want to learn it. But yeah, look, I think businesses are going to realize in the next 2 or 3 years, you're going to need a prompt engineer in the business to do that. All we've tried to do is speed it up for you. Rather than go get a prompt engineer for marketing, there's a whole marketing collection. If you don't need a prompt engineer for finance, we've got a whole lot for you, or HR, whatever. And we've done it that way to make it a bit faster and easier. But the good thing is the everyday user can too, right? So if I was a recruiter working in a boutique recruitment, and in 3 months from now, I'm off to my next job, my prompts go with me. I own them, right? Yeah. So I can take my prompts and go to the next place and help that company and help them faster and smarter, because I've built my own prompt stack and I own them. You know what I mean? That's why I said you guys have total commercial rights. When all I've done is I've built the prompts as templates. The end result of what you guys get out of that is yours. You can come back to it and use it over and over and over. So I think, to your point, yes, I think business are going to need more prompt engineering in the business, uptake on it.
And he's being very generous here. He's giving a 50% discount for the first 3 listeners that go to the website and sign up. 50%, like it's no brainer. I would absolutely recommend and suggest to sign up. Marin, in terms of advancements, like I was actually talking to a friend just now before this, and we were talking about AI agents, right? And we were talking about, like, just last month, there were conversations about AI agents, but not as crazy as we're seeing it in now January. Like every second post is AI agents. What are the advancements or sort of the expansions you see for Pro Prompt in the next year or so, especially, when we look at the rapid advancement that's happening within AI?
Yeah, 100%. I get a lot of interest across the globe from end users to ATS companies, and that's where I'm seeing this getting into, to the point where we're getting requests from people that are building new platforms and new ATSs, SaaS setups, where they go, we just want to implement it. We just want to have your service on the back of it, where they can go in, if they're using our service, but they don't have a prompt for it, they can just go and use your Pro Prompts. So that's where it's getting to. But I think the most important thing is that, and I try to keep this with Pro Prompt, even if I do a joint venture or anything with anyone else, is that it has to be user friendly. It's self-serve. We've set up Pro Prompt as a self-serve. I don't do anything more than keep adding it for you guys, right? That's all I'm doing is I just keep building it and building and building. And in fact, you said 38,000. I think we've hit over 40 now. But this is the thing. It's not hard for me to give you guys more because you pay for a collection, you still get it, right? But the idea of having built-in templates is coming where you'll be able to test it. So we have a lot of people that go, oh, I sort of get it. I understand how that works, but I'd like to try it out. So that's coming. We know that it's new for a lot of people. And that's the other reason why I built it, because people haven't got time to learn prompt engineering and don't want to learn it, scared of it, think they're going to lose their job over it, all that stuff that we've heard for a long time. But I've done it so that it is user-friendly for them. They can get in and try it. And and to your point earlier, I don't hide the prompts. So once you pay for that prompt, when it pops up, and I'll show you, like I said, an example soon, but you will actually see everything that I've created in the prompt. So you can learn. I can see he's put a task in there and he's told it to do this, and he's telling it what it wants in the output. I'll put the variables in, but I can see how he's created it. And the idea behind that is I want us to be upskilled, right? I want people to grow and develop. And in 5 years from now, I'd love to hear great stories of, oh my God, I'm doing prompt engineering and prompt design now. I learned it from your prompts. That would be gold. That would be so heartwarming. I'd love that.
That actually leads me right into my next question, is that I actually thought that last year at some stage, moving into this year, there would be a requirement for recruiters and sources to some degree be like doing some form of prompt engineering. Do you think this can be like a substitute for someone to become more of a prompt engineer by playing with the tool?
I think when things are done like this, where they can actually see it, they learn it. And I think that upskills people, and they feel a lot more confident. Go, I can write a prompt. I know it needs a task, and I know it needs this now, and I know it needs that now. Before they were just going, I need a JD, please, which is like, you'll get a great answer, but not at all.
No, Maren, I think let's get on to the fun part of you showing us your amazing tool.
Sure, absolutely. Let me.
I've obviously played around with it, but now I want to see it from your end.
So this is ProPrompt. This is a total self-serve site for you guys to build your own prompts and high-level prompts and have your own stacks and come back to it and use it and the like. The way we've set it up is really quite easy. They get them categorized like this, which I'll show you in a second. We have a lot on the website. If you want to go and, like, for example, if you want to go and look at some videos to understand how to use it, or look at our posts, a lot of that is really good to do too, because you get a bit of an understanding of, hey, I could have used it that way or the like. But if we jump straight into the actual store, what I wanted to show you quickly was this. So a lot of people are saying when they look at ProPrompt, oh, I've just bought these packages. Where are they? How do I use them? Where can I find them? Up in your little corner here when you join, and it doesn't cost you to join ProPrompt, by the way. You just sign in and become a member of it. To get a pack, though, you'll get a billing subscription with Stripe. So you own that billing, and what we want you to do is have accessibility to what you get. So you always know what you've got. If you need to claim it for your work, you can get your receipts and everything for it. We didn't want to remove that ability for you to have it there. You can play around with your profile and your password and the like. But I just want to say that's really, really important for security for you guys to know that it is locked away and you'll have your own account. No one can access your prompts. No one can play with, and it doesn't matter. It's templates anyway. So whatever they're looking at, you're looking at, I'm looking at, but if they own the same one, that's good, but it won't influence or change the prompts that you play with. So the prompts, the way the site is set up is that you've always got your prompt collection up the top here, which is this section. And in this section here, there is over, I think, 60 collections. And they rate from everything from marketing, business strategy, talent sourcing, AI, personal brand, HR, leadership, whatever you like. And it just goes on and on. And this has been built over 2.5, actually almost 3 years now, and just keeps getting added to. So if you did buy the HR collection as an example, you go in there, it'd be part of your collection. These are all yours. All these HR prompts are there for you to use, play around with, come back to. The point I was saying about what's coming, we're going to have a little star to the right here. So if you go, yeah, I want to do strategies on addressing diverse workforce benefits, I'm going to star it. A little folder will come up here for you saying my favorite. So you can just go back there, because as you can imagine, there'd be a hell of a lot to remember. The way the prompts are set up are really easy. You've actually got a little drop down here so you can read what all the prompts are. If you go, oh, that looks interesting. Yeah, a bit of legal advice. What does this prompt do? Okay, yeah, that's good. And you can do the same thing with the folders. So if you are looking at the folders and you want to look at talent marketing, you can just read what it's about. And you can do that through all of the prompts, the collections as well. So when you buy a collection, this is the collection folder. Inside is what we call just the prompt templates. Okay, so think of it like packs, which buy collections, inside are the prompts. So let's jump into a little bit about the prompts now. And this is the way it gets quite cool. Cool for me. I love seeing you guys use this. This is quite enjoyable. So let's do an example. Say we're looking for some insights. So we'll use the first one here. As you can see in here, if you're into talent sourcing and recruitment, there's a lot of great stuff here to help you find great talent that's out there or rank candidates or the like. It's quite cool. But let's just use this one for today. What happens is when you click on it, it pops up. This is the part that we don't hide from you. So this shows you the prompt that's been built behind. It's already done for you. You don't have to do this every time now. All you need to do is read it if you want to understand how prompts actually work. The good thing is off the back of this, you'll start learning how they work and, it's got to have context. I've got to give the prompt a role. I've got to tell AI what it's going to do for me. I need to give it guidelines. I need to tell it algorithms and all the rest of it. But you can learn all that down the track. But the beauty of ProPrompt is you don't have to learn it. All you need to worry about are these blue areas. These are called the variables. So the variables are really easy. All you do is click on it, and we'll give an example now. Let's say we're looking for an engineering manager. I gave this example when I was in Melbourne, and I think it's probably the one that resonates the most with most people. So say we're looking for an engineering manager. Location, let's say we're looking for him in Brisbane.
Marion, does it take Boolean in there as well for position titles, or not? It's pretty straightforward.
It's not looking for that. What you'd be better off doing is grabbing a Boolean prompt, one that we've already created, and then telling you what you want in the Boolean. So like reversing it, reverse engineering. Don't be shied off though. It does understand Boolean. And so if we had a variable in this saying, see, is there anything else you want to tell me? You can add in there and go, here's some Boolean strings that have worked. It'll show you a bit of an example of what we're looking for. That'd be fine too. It understands anyway. So if you could put that in there. The variables will always be written as to what is needed. Okay, so like I said, in some of these variables, there are some times where it says, hey, put an example in. Give us an example of what the skills are you think or areas you'd like us to try and look at. So the industry, so let's say mining, and let's go asset management. Let's learn how to spell. Let's go plant, and let's go leadership as the key skills. Now you can put as many as you want in all these. You can put mining and manufacturing. You could put Brisbane and Melbourne. You can put, engineering manager, maintenance manager, and the like. But the beauty of it is, because we've written the prompt for talent insights, you really only need to give it the basics of the one particular role you're looking at and the key skills. But don't be limited. If you've got a PD that's got a whole lot of skills in it, add them all if you want to. It'll take it. So you hit copy on this. You go to ChatGPT. It'll pop up inside here. You'll paste in that prompt, and this is where the beauty happens. So you have just created a whole talent insights on an engineering manager role for Brisbane in the mining sector for asset management with leadership skills and say plant skills as well. So you can see there, it'll give you all the educational unis that they'll usually come from. It'll give you the 10 different degrees of preferred for the role that they'll normally have. There's their field of studies that they'll normally have to be successful in the role. These are the talent qualifications. The lovely part about these sort of information now is you can start creating, what does my job advert need to say? What are the key things I need to be asking in my interviews? What are some behavioral stuff I need to be looking at? So we're looking for an engineering manager, right? But then it gives you all the other stuff. What are some other titles I could be searching that these people would have these skills? There's the 20 skills that they need to have to be successful in the role. This is the 20 relevance, lots of experience. Once again, good stuff to ask them in a conversation. So tell me about leading multidisciplinary teams. Tell me about your familiarity with CCMS platforms. Tell me about managing environmental compliance. So you're getting some good stuff out of it that you can actually move forward with. There's some other industries. We chose mining, but you can see heavy manufacturing is in there, renewables, other stuff you may not have thought of. That's their key responsibilities in the role. Here's the top 20 employers. And the lovely part about that is you go, oh, yeah, I didn't think about Orica. Oh, you know what? Newcrest Mining. Yeah, let's dive into them and see if we can find some talent there. There's some hotspots. This is just one prompt, right? This is one prompt just to give you some insights around a particular role that you're looking for. There's other prompts that do other things, right? But this particular prompt, this is the result that you get out of it. The lovely part at the end is you've actually got the Boolean. So
Oh.
you can actually just go search,
Love that.
and there's all your engineering.
I love the fact that with the insights, right? Let's say you're going for a discovery session with the hiring manager and you've got the PD, you want to do a bit of homework, not just to sound smart, but actually do a bit of homework. Because let's say if I, Transurban being an example, this is the first time I'm working in this sort of industry. It gives you really crucial pieces of information to make yourself a lot more self-aware and educate yourself on things that you probably wouldn't have known before. Yes, you've got Google, but now I don't think anyone even uses Google as much as now we use ChatGPT to ask it questions, right?
Well, ChatGPT's now got a search. It actually took over my browser about 3 days ago, which was good. I still do like to go back to Google because there's a lot of, we have obviously add-ons and bots and other stuff that we use, right? So you don't want to take away from that accessibility, but it was pretty cool to try. To the point of what we talked about earlier about it's not the silver bullet. This is great, right? This is stuff that, you're getting a lot of information here out of one prompt or for a lot of talent source, and you're looking for an engineering manager. But it's a conversation after that and after that and after that where it gets really good. So I've just written down here, now write me a job advert with my information. So all the variables, it knows all about it. So it knows that, okay, great, I'm going to write you a job advert exactly for the details of what we identified. It knows the skills they've got to have. It knows the experience they've got to have. And it'll give you basically enough for you to then go and play with it, right? That obviously is not going to be appropriate to the company you're working with. So, but at least you've got all of the key information that they're going to be searching for when they're looking for a job. Here's the other great thing about it. You can then say, great, now write me a interview script so I can interview these hiring managers. And here's the other part about it. You can also then say, add behavioral questions, all right? So then you get some good stuff out of it. All right, so let's see what we get out of this. All right. So there it is. It tells you how long that you should be spending with it. There's your interview discussion with them, give them a bit of overview of what they'll be looking at. Get all your technical questions out of the way, dive deep, and you can see the information that it's putting in there is the information that's it's gathered from what these guys need to have as a skill to be successful as that engineering manager, right? You've got some nice structural questions around their, say, maintenance planning or their budgets and the like, and then you've got some lovely behavioral questions on the end. So within 3 minutes there, we just source talent. We then identify where we can find them, at least, and with Boolean, they break, right? So sometimes they hit and miss. That's typical Boolean. That's why we give you 5 Booleans with a lot of the prompts that we do, because some break, some don't work, some work better than others. But the lovely thing is it knows what skills, what education they should have, what experience they need, and all the rest of it. So it becomes very easy for this conversation now to create behavioral questions.
And even if you flip the script a bit and think of it from a candidate engagement perspective, once you fed it all that information and you said, look, this is the JD, this is the company that I'm recruiting for, hiring for, these are my top 5 candidates, I want to reach out to them based on their profile and based on the JD, tell me what would be the candidate attraction factors that I could use to have a conversation with them or something to that effect.
Correct. So what a lot of my sources do, and I've been doing this for years, is that obviously when you identify talent, and this is just public data, right, that's out there, or profiles on LinkedIn or wherever you find them, if you can capture that data somehow, or you've got that notes, you don't need names, you don't need phone numbers, you don't need, all you need to have in there is the information about those individual candidates. And what we do is that we load that data into AI after the conversation, and we now say, now rank who would be the best in this particular role, knowing what we know and what we're looking for in this particular role, rank them and then tell us. And when you rank them, we want to rank them on their skills, their longevity, their experience, their transferable skills, all that lovely stuff. And the best part about it is you can also then talk deeper to it and go, give me the challenge. So just say we had Tim, Bruce, and Angela come up as the top 3 engineering managers that we wanted, that we identified. Tell us who would be the most successful. Tell us who would find it the most challenging. We really need someone with multi-site experience, example. And they'll go, oh, Angela is the standout. She has multi-site here. She's done this before. She's led large teams across multi-site. Tim has a little bit. It's from a particular role, but that was about 5 years ago. And Bruce, he's really good, but has only been doing it for the last 2 years. So you can get this lovely information out of it, enough for you to go back and go, hey, I need to talk to this Angela. I need to have a conversation. And then you've got your script. So you can quickly go in and then go, fantastic. I've got my script. I can ask Angela. So you say then to AI, Angela seems to be the best. Give me some questions that I can ask her. Write me an introduction email so I can introduce myself to you as well. And then give me, once again, some interview questions or screening questions, and definitely some behavioral stuff, and dig into that part about the multi-site, and nothing will go. So that's avoiding that silver bullet, prompting and AI and all that rest. That's first answer. Please avoid it. The best stuff you're going to get is the third or fourth or fifth thing that you're having a conversation with it about.
Awesome. And Marion, with the data sets, I know, because I've been also playing around with the data sets as well. What are you sort of seeing, or what would you advise people that are going to start using the tool around the data that they're inputting in there? What can we expect from it? Because I've had to play around with it. I need to play around with it a bit more. This is brilliant. Tell me a little about the data with people uploading any information in there.
Look, golden rule, and this will never change. It is to have nothing about your company, no personal details. It doesn't require it, right? AI is looking for skills and alignment and transferables and experience and locations. And that's the stuff that makes the difference, right? We don't care if they're named Angela Bruce or wherever not. We don't care that they work for BHP or what other company or not, but just protect yourself, protect your company, and protect the individuals. That privacy piece is gold, guys. You've got to really remember that at that forefront, the data you have, if you pull public data, absolutely, it's fine. Just load it in there and go for it. It's public data anyway. LinkedIn has a public version of everyone's profiles. When you do a search on Google, like I just did then, that's all public data, right? If you want to copy that and paste it in GPT and go, I like these three, and you want to look at them on the public version of their LinkedIn and grab that, that's fine. But just protect yourself, protect your companies, and protect the data. You know that intellectual property is gold, and you will be highly respected, and not only respected by the companies, but by the individuals that you're protecting as well with their data. So that's the golden rule. None of us go near it. We don't have to go near it. We can still do a great job with it. And all you need is a name, right? Once you get a name, you go, well, they must be on LinkedIn then. Or they must be on Seek or something then, right? So off you go, right? Or Indeed, off we go, right? So the idea is to encourage you to use those platforms. The AI just gives you the ability to find them. That's all it does, right? So they keep it very, very simple, but really look after you, look after each other, look after your company's data. Just protect yourself. No, you don't need to put anything up from your company. You just need to actually source.
Solid advice as always, my friend. Thank you so much for taking out the time. I'm so excited to see what happens moving forward. As you know, I'm flying the ProProm flag behind the scenes as well. I love the tool, and I'm trying to use it every day in what I'm doing. Honestly, I'm trying not to rely too much on it because I want to come across as smart for my own brain, but I'm learning as I go as well. Marion, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for making the time to come in, and all the best with ProPrompt. We will be sharing the code. Like I said, it's going to be 50% off for the first 3 people that go in and sign up. And of course, Marion is always available on LinkedIn should you have any questions. So thanks once again, Marion.
Thank you, mate. All the very best with everything for you as well, mate. I'm so glad you're back. You don't understand.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today, mate. Love it.
Thanks, my friend. Take care. Thanks, everyone. Bye.